everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps, Dissolution, Part 5. Today is November 15th, 2021, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, again, you can feel free to join us on that Patreon, or you can post them in the Twitch chat to the side if you're watching this live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Daylight time, I guess, is still a thing. Or you can go towards our Discord. You can find the link in the description of this Twitch chat, of this video or audio cast down below, or again, in the Twitch chat if you're watching live. But let's say that you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on Twitch and YouTube and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, hats, and we also have face masks. That's right, we have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, Tiamasks if you will, designed by our very own Cyberwolf 1201, where all of the proceeds of those masks end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, RJ, who are you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, and today I'm playing Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard. We both go by he, him.
Hi everybody, I'm LBHackEmUp, and I'm going to be playing Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter. We both go by she, her.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or whatever pronouns. I play Arjhan. Arjhan is a Draconian Ranger Cleric. He, him.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, she, her. Also known as Danae Keener, still she, her. I'm going to be playing as Cori, the Elegant Paladin, who uses she, they, or he.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, your group had a, let's say a fun time in Caelum's Curious Cabin. There were a few contact other plane spells that were used, one not as successful as the other two. However, things ended up going fine by the end of it. You were able to speak with the, with one of the variants of Arjhan to let them know, hey, we figured out how to put Caius in a weapon. We've spoken with Asmodeus about this. And then you made a brief plan as to a contingency, rather, that if anything were to, like, you would let the variant know, like, hey, we're going to be using this thing, because you only got that one chance to use this spell, use this ability that Asmodeus has granted upon you. After that, you exited out of the Curious Cabin and found yourselves not in the same place that you had been initially. At that point, you realized that things are going a little wonky in the Shadowfell, as luck would have it, and as you walked towards what looked like a fissure in the earth, you were greeted by a necromancer named Zeb, who had a huge fanboy's crush on a creature known only as the Ghost King that laid beneath this fissure. Upon Zeb's instruction, seeing how he seemed a little incompetent in the matter, Arjhan, you ended up going down into this dark crevasse, found the Ghost King, received a rib from them that they had claimed would give you help and assistance in the upcoming trials to come, going up against the Raven Queen, and then you made your way back to your party, where you all collectively kind of told Zeb to shove it, that he should have just gone and talked to the Ghost King himself, but he seemed, you know, just really pensive and a mite bit scared about the whole thing, as it were. It was at that point that you all agreed that you were going to be causing a distraction, or that Caelum was going to be causing a distraction of some sorts to allow you to get into the Raven Queen's castle. That was, however, when we thought that RJ was going to be missing for a week. So is there any other plan that you all would like to establish before that happens to kind of retcon the end of last session? If not, we can totally just go forward from there.
Yeah, we had 2 weeks to figure this out. What do we do?
I mean, for the most part, we could break the bone, convince the spirits to cause a distraction somewhere, draw the forces away from the castle.
I mean, Arjhan can do a pretty good distraction and get back to us in a quick manner, right?
Good.
Or, yeah, I mean, and then we can sneak in. Again, I'm not very sneaky, but I can try.
Bone army.
Yeah, well, but that's true. Hate to waste a bone army.
Out of character, is it actually a bone army?
Out of character, looking at this item, there was the assumption that if you cracked it, you would just like summon forth a metric shit ton of skeletons. That's the scientific phrasing for it. And that would just be at your beck and call. In reality, it allows you to use a spare the dying, or not spare the dying, a speak with the dead spell that you are able to use on any spirits that might be around within a 50-foot radius of the usage of this ability, and they would treat you as friendly, regardless of if they knew who you were or not, or what they were previously. They would just de facto treat you as friendly and answer any questions that they could in a most truthful of manner.
Maybe we can crack this and find out a little bit more about the
Again, you
Raven Queens.
don't need to crack it. Just need to use it.
Maybe we'll use this and figure out what's going on with the Raven Queen's castle. If there's any other points of entries we can do.
Oh, do I
You
need
need
to
to
do
do something.
reconnaissance?
That might be a great plan. Reconnaissance. You know, I'm sorry, I'm not quite in my battle ready headspace. So
It's been
reconnaissance
2
is a
weeks.
good idea. Well, yeah.
I also got distracted because I rolled a 20 on my blood die.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's very
Let's sorry. Let's use the 20 to crack the bone.
No. I'm a. Okay. Can I get a pretty good like? I would like to make a reconnaissance roll.
Okay. So you are all still like in the general woods, near where you would assume, based off of one of Arjhan's like quick pop-ups scan around. You know that you are near a rather large open field, and then off in the far distance would be the castle that you've been going towards. At this point, if you wanted to do a reconnaissance roll, I would say make either a stealth or a survival check.
I'd like to do stealth.
Okay.
Specifically, I would like to do stealth after casting Pass Without Trace.
Excellent.
Where is my gun? There we go. Oh. Well, that's all my gun spells. Okay, cool. Stealth. Okay, that's a natural 1
Okay.
for a 28.
Jesus Christ. Incredible. Love that. So with the 28, natural. Oh my god. Like you fly up and like you're kind of like,
It was a natural 1.
Yeah.
If you want to do something with that. But
I would say like a natural 1 in this situation is not an outright fail for stealth, because you also have Pass Without Trace up. You got some other shit going on. Like, you are akin to the night, the shadow, but you're kind of like leaving a trail behind you. It would be like one of those things like you hear like the breaking of branches. You see where something is going, but you don't know what that something is because you are just one with the shadows. But like, this is not the cleanest exit strategy that you have ever had from the woods by far. But you are able to go up to a perched area to be able to look around and kind of getting a general look as to where you're going. You see that there is, again, this sort of like open field that looks like it has weapons that are sort of like still like kind of planted in the ground in some places. It looks like it is just kind of derelict in a sense. Like, you've been to places where battles have been had. You've seen the after effects of when people, or when groups at least, fought with each other. And this very much looks like that, but old. And looking at, and then looking past these open fields that you can see kind of goes on for a series of miles, you can see that there is formidably off in the distance this castle. Likewise, kind of looking around, you can also see where the trees themselves seem to get thicker in the canopy, but more spacious in the actual like growth underneath. And from your vantage point, with as high as perception as you have, you can see what looks to be like almost like murky water. Almost like there is like the markings of what you would expect a swamp to be. Also kind of like about, I would say, around 2 miles from where you are. So you can either go to the swamp or go to the field. At least like from what you're able to see. Because reconnaissance, otherwise you are just like flying into the night.
Do the swamp.
Okay. So are you like motioning for your party to follow you into said swamp, or are you just like going swamp wise yourself?
I would motion that I am going that way, but I don't think Arjhan would be telling them to follow, since he's just doing reconnaissance.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, you all can receive, I want to say, like, it's pretty easy to follow. Like, when Arjhan is in transit, it's very difficult to see where he is. Again, 28 in stealth, but because it was a natural one, there is like a path that you have seen this rather large dragon man make through the tree canopy to his current resting spot. At least if you know what you're looking for, which you all should, because he is your friend. And he makes motion that he is going to be heading off in this eastern direction. Do you end up following him, or are you just like, okay, like, have fun in the east?
Follow, right? Follow.
Okay. I like to
At a
imagine.
distance.
I like to imagine Gwen is like, follow, right? Like, looks at
Right.
party and they're like, oh, what? Yeah, no, we'll follow.
Yeah, it's just like thinking. Yeah, follow.
Okay. All right, so you begin the process of following Arjhan. Arjhan, make another stealth roll for me.
Let's pass without trace last.
Should be
Like-
1 hour, I think.
Yeah, concentration up to an hour. 44.
Much better. A much better roll this day. Yeah, so now that you're able to kind of get to more of like the topmost branches, being able to traverse this area is not as difficult as you had initially thought. It really was just like there was a lot of underbrush back there. Not a great time, but you figured it out. Flying in that direction, the party knows that you're heading there, and you assume that they are going to be following you. awesome. And as you are continuing over, you eventually do see that the land does become more swampy. There are kind of these, like, I want to say that they're ferns, because ferns just seem to have the ability to grow fucking anywhere, regardless of if there's sunlight or not. But they sort of have this, like, almost grayish monotone like coloration to them, as well as there just seems to be like this slow moving water. It's you can smell how brackish it is just from being as high up, like even from how high up you are. And looking around, it looks like, as you can kind of continue into the swamp, that there might have been a city here, or an attempt at a city or a village here at some point. You see that there are like the remains of old buildings that are like partially submerged in this swamp that have just been sinking down over time as the ground gave way. And as you are flying about, make a perception check for me.
$22.
Okay, so with a 22, as you're kind of flying about and getting a general look of this area, you can see what looks to be like the remains of an old tower that is sort of like resting at a peculiar angle that seems to just sort of be like again steadily sinking into the swamp. But as you are looking at it from the top, you can see that there's actually like several tarps that have been pulled to create what looks like a dry spot in case of any kind of rain, as well as what looks like a bedroll has actually been set out. There is there's what looks like a selection of these old weapons that have kind of been popped up into the corner, as well as a trunk that's been set. And it looks like, against all odds, somebody is living out here. You don't see the person, but you do see what looks like a homestead. And it doesn't look like it has the makings or marks to be a Shadarkai that seems to just be living by themselves necessarily.
What's the range on our walkie-talkies?
The walkie-talkies, we have been kind of just like hand waving them as almost like a sending spell. So as long as
Yeah, they're
nearby.
sending stones.
Yeah.
There's a ruined tower that it looks like somebody's making a homestead out of. It doesn't look like one of her army. I don't know if it would be ally or friend or enemy, but I'll continue looking.
All right, copy that. We're approaching the edge of the swamp now.
Okay. Yeah, so Caelum, Cori, and Gwen, I'd like for you all to make survival checks as you attempt to follow your incredibly stealthy draconian friend.
+5?
Saves.
11.
I got a 4.
I got a 13.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be good at these.
So, yeah, I mean, you at least know the general direction that Arjhan went. Keeping track of him when he is like in his element is normally a good thing. Like it's a good thing that it is so difficult to do so. But being in unfamiliar territory, this is definitely one of those like, okay, like we just need to keep going in the direction that we saw him go last. And it does take you a little while to get to this place. And as the three of you are walking, I would like for each of you to make perception checks.
Oh boy.
That feels extra bad.
Oh, also an 11. Damn it.
I
got
got a dirty 20.
23.
Okay, so dirty 20 and a 23. That is good. So, let's see. There we go. Boop. Just need to change some things around. So, as the three of you are walking and sort of looking around, trying to see where Arjhan is, Caelum and Cori, the two of you can actually see what looks to be some form of winged shadow that is traversing through the higher tops of the woods. They seem much larger than a raven would be. And surprising, at least surprising to you, you don't actually see any ravens here. There don't seem to be any of these creatures following you, which may be in part from your after your interaction with the Grim King and your cabin sort of reappearing in another place within the Shadowfell, that they may have lost track of you. But you see what looks to be a Arjhan-sized shadow that seems to be going through the tops of the woods. However, Caelum, with your 23, I mean, Arjhan is like humanoid shaped. This is more like imagine like a it's like a manta ray almost. Like it's this large like flat like creature that has these wings that sort of seem to like ripple from the sides, almost like it's swimming through the air, that just seems to be like going through the woods. And in the top of the brushes, you see that it is like turning a wide turn, and then it goes behind a tree, and like a mask wipe in a movie, as soon as it goes behind that tree, it is gone.
Was that Arjhan?
Nope, that was not Arjhan. That looked like some sort of manta ray.
What?
Something over there in the trees.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my stuff so I don't make too much noise.
There's all manner of creatures in here. We should be
Is that
cautious.
Yeah. Be chill.
Just really hope that one of those things isn't around here. You know, the big tall thing with the meat tentacles.
Oh, right. I'll go first.
You sure?
Yeah. Also, that way, if I start sinking into the swamp, someone can just grab me.
Yeah, and Gwen, as you are like walking first into this swamp, you can see like it looks like coming around from a tree, there are like two tall little ears that almost look like rabbit ears, but then you see small bony like fingers come around it, and this creature has like this horrifying skull face with these small ears attached to it, and it just looks at you and kind of chatters with these human-like teeth rather than having a more animalistic one, and then it just sort of like scurries a little bit closer.
Friend or foe?
And it,
I don't
chatters
like
its
this.
teeth.
Ah!
And it like
Ah!
extends like a little hand out and like makes like a grabby. But when you like make yourself look big, you see it recoils and just like it scurries around the tree, and then you hear what sounds like a fluttering noise as like it and several others that you had not seen just seem to like dissipate from you, making this weird chattering noise.
I hate this place. I want to leave as soon as we can, okay?
Have you ever seen a creature like that before?
No, have you? Is this normal? No, this isn't normal. Nothing about this place is normal.
It looked kind of like a raccoon. It had like the little hands.
Yeah, it did have opposable thumbs.
Did it have a bandit mask over the skull face? I need to know.
It did not.
Damn it.
If you catch one, you can give it one.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay. And as you are making your way, again, deeper in, there is a moment where you are nearing the edge of this kind of ruined city, and you can hear what sounds like a banner flapping in the distance, almost like a battle standard. But then looking in the direction of that flapping sound, I'd like for everybody to make perception checks.
I have concerns.
19.
Dirty 20.
22.
Okay.
18.
None of you are able to see this thing.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
And as you are all looking at this, or looking in its direction, and hearing the sound of just this like fluttering battle standard, you can see what look to be, again, like these pieces of fabric that have been made up onto posts that just sort of seem to be billowing in a effortless wind that you cannot feel on your face. But as they are billowing, you begin to hear a noise. You begin to hear what sounds like the groan of somebody in their final moments before they expire after they have been gutted with a pike. And as you hear this noise, I'd like for Gwen, Cori, and Caelum to each make a wisdom saving throw. Arjhan, you are far enough away that you can hear this, but you are not like in direct conscious with this.
25.
I got a 30 plus 5 to my friends.
That's a 24 for Gwen. Because you're muted.
24.
Okay. So I'd like, as you are all looking at this thing and gazing at this like at these banners that are just fluttering on these wooden poles. Let me see here. Gwen, does nope. Does a 13 hit you?
No.
Excellent.
I always just accept that I'm going to get hit.
Okay.
This is incredible.
I need to roll with a different dice. That one is betraying me. Does a 23 hit you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Gwen, as you are like back turned, like staring in the direction of these banners, Cori and Caelum, you do not see this thing come down from the tree line. And as it does, it rears up almost in a quick arc, having dived towards the ground. Gwen, you feel like you just have like that innate like, oh, fuck, something's coming, because, I mean, barbarian skills, you can't really be surprised.
I can't.
As a surprise round begins. So I'd like for everybody to roll initiative to kind of lead into this before the damage is done.
Okay. I do have a thing where I can't be surprised. I am alert.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Gwen, after that like brief tail strike, like you're already like on high alert of just like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah.
And like you turn around and just see what looks like a billowing black sheet that has a mungfish face upon it with just like that extended lower jaw, these gnarly teeth that just seems to kind of float down from the tree line, try and stab at you with this like manta ray-esque tail, miss, extend its large like flapping wings outward, and actually engulf you in a wrap.
We took a long rest, right?
You did, you did in the cabin.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay, how much damage do I take?
So you are going to be taking a total of 10 points of piercing damage. And this creature attaches itself to you. While it is attached to you, you are blinded and unable to breathe while it is attached.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it is just like wrapped around the majority of your body. So I'd like for everybody to roll initiative at this point.
So it's more like,
Yeah.
What was that, Gwen? Oh! I got a 3.
2.
9.
I got a 6.
3, 6, 9. Arjhan, what'd you get?
22.
22. I thought you said 2 for a brief moment. I was like, but your thing's +8. Like, there's no way. All right. So.
Whenever I roll low in initiative, I always think there's no way that anybody rolled lower than me, but Caelum always proves me wrong.
Okay.
If it's one thing that's certain, it's Caelum's gonna roll low on initiative.
All right. So we are still in the surprise round. The second one of these creatures
Oh no, there's 2.
also floats down. And as it does, let me see here. So it is going to come up towards you, Caelum, and it is going to try and do the same thing. That is a natural 20.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is for 14 points of piercing damage. And now you are blinded and unable to breathe as this large, coat with a face just seems to like wrap itself around your upper half and begin the process of squeezing in.
So I'm just blinded then.
You're blinded and unable to breathe, but I mean, that part doesn't really bother you a whole lot. However, there we go. So it has advantage on its tail strike against you. And that is a 14 to hit with advantage.
That is a miss.
Okay. Sounds good. So that is it for the surprise round, at least for those creatures. Gwen, you act normally in a surprise round as long as you enter a rage, I believe. Isn't that the way that your barbarian feature works?
You can use a... Sorry.
I took the alert feat. So yes. I will go into a rage. There's no worries there. Yes, Gwen would like to use her bonus action to rage, please. And then I'm going to swing wildly at this thing because, boy, I don't know what's going on. And I shall do so recklessly. God, my plus 14 to hit. What am I? That's a 29 to hit.
29? Okay, yeah, the 29 most certainly hits that creature.
Oh, should it just be straight?
Um,
Am I attacking at disadvantage because I'm blinded?
yes.
Okay, my other roll then was a 9, which would still be 23.
Okay, that'll hit.
Okay, so I'll just count those as my 2 attacks and roll for damage. Okay. Sorry. 15 twice. First attack is 15, second attack is 15.
Okay, sounds good. It will take both of those and it lets out a might awful sound as you do this. So for a total of 30.
Ace.
Sounds good. Okay, so then that is it for the surprise round. We are going to be going to the top of the initiative. So, Arjhan, you were first.
What do my draconian eyes see?
Draconian eyes, Arjhan, from what you are able to see, you see that there is, like, scanning over to where you heard this groaning noise, maybe about 120 feet away from where you are, you can see that there is Cori. She's looking, like, totally fine. Caelum, like, his top half is wrapped up in this very malign sheet that again has this icky looking face atop it, and then Gwen is just like knees down, like just sticking out from below. Again, this very angry looking cloak. You might even call these creatures cloakers. We are going to make things easier for the remainder of this encounter.
How far are they away?
120 feet in total.
Pew pew.
Okay. Pachow.
I want to hit the one on Gwen first. 29.
Okay, 29. That is a hit. Roll for damage.
14.
Okay, a 14.
Question, did it see me?
It did not.
Okay. No 20 on that, so it's fine. Second attack.
Okay.
Does 20 also hit?
Yes, it does.
18 more points.
Okay.
And hey, it's the first round. I'm a dread ambusher.
Ambusher.
26.
26 to hit.
To hit, yes.
Oh yeah, that'll do.
One additional weapon attack as part of the action deal. 1d8. Okay, cool. 1d8. 17 more points.
Okay. That's good. Alrighty, so this creature is taking quite a bit of damage. But it is still up.
That's it.
Okay.
Does Gwen take any damage?
I was looking, and I cannot find attached to this creature. Oh,
A friendly
while
fire
attached,
claws.
it only takes half damage dealt to it rounded down, and the creature takes the other half. It's like the first ruling on this.
Teacher, we have homework.
Thank you.
So I take 5? How much
So,
damage?
you are going to take, because Arjhan dealt 15, 18, and 17 in total.
They were not mundane damage. They were fire.
Okay. All right. 15.
So 15 rounded down is
7.
7. 18 is 9, so
Yeah.
16, and then another 8 points of damage, so 24 in total.
Can I just say I went and did putt-putt last weekend, and I was able to add up all the scores, like just go down because of D&D. Thank you for letting me show off. Like just go through and add them up. You know, simple math.
Excellent.
I just want to like get a little bit closer, but just like get into a like sniper position on like one of these ruined buildings.
Okay. Sounds good. So you are able to do that. I believe you can stealth as a bonus action.
I don't believe I can.
Okay.
I can vanish, but I don't. Yes. Vanish. You can use the hide action as a bonus action. Yes.
Cool. So yeah, you can definitely roll yourself a stealth check, and you still got
30.
your.
No, I don't. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you still have
41.
I wanted to say hide in plain sight. That's not the name of it.
Pass without
Pass without
trace.
trace.
That one, yes.
41.
We've been playing this game for a while. Yeah, 41 will do it. Okay, so that was Arjhan's turn. Let me see. Okay. So these two cloaks have wrapped around Caelum. They have wrapped around. Gwen, and from the shadows between the trees, you see that there are those small-looking like rabbit skull creatures, and one of them is just like pointing towards your group. And Cori, as you look at this creature, it is one of those like, oh, it's almost cute. And then you see just like wreathed in these black robes with long pointed claws, two sets of glowing red eyes, a figure, a large-sized creature that is just like, if it wasn't for the fact that your face is an actual skull, maybe they would pass as something other than undead. But this creature rears itself into the battle as well. And seeing you, it is actually going to come and make at least an attempt to make a series of attacks towards you. So let me see here. That is going to be a 21 to hit.
Yes. Yes, that hits.
Okay, so then you are going to be taking 14 points of piercing damage.
-3 because of heavy armor.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like this creature is about like 15 feet away from you, Cori. And as it extends this clawed hand out, you can hear the popping noise as its shoulder actually extends out where it should be. The hints, like the traces of muscle still attaching to it, just sort of loosen up to give it that extra reach. And as its claw sinks into you, it then pulls you back a good 10 feet towards it. So you are then considered grappled.
Excuse me.
It is going to make a second claw attack towards you. So then that is going to be a 22 to hit.
Yep.
Okay, and that will be for another 20 points of piercing damage.
Get over here.
As it literally just like one claw out, grabs you, pulls you 10 feet, another claw out, grabs you, pulls you until you are right next to this creature.
Well, I was going to help you out, Gwen, but you know what, actually? Yeah, no, I got this.
Okay. So yeah, this undead has pulled you in. It does not seem to have taken a liking to you necessarily. Next up are the vicious cloaks, and they are going to be doing their best to nom on the things that they have caught in their gross hands. Oh, that's where my pencil went. I was looking for it before the game, and I thought I had lost it, but it was just in my dice tray. So, Gwen, the bite that it makes is going to be a 21 to hit you.
Yeah,
And that is going to be for 6 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
And then it is going to make a secondary attack with its tail. That's a 16 to hit.
That meets.
Okay. And then that is going to be for 10 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And then Caelum is going to do the same thing towards you. Does a 19 hit?
With a shield, it does not.
Okay. Sounds good. And then it is going to try and make a tail strike towards you for a 25.
That, in fact, does hit.
Okay. And then that is going to be for 6 points of slashing damage. As this thing also continues to stab. Next up, Gwen. Gwen, you are grappled by this thing that is upon you.
Can I try to make a strength check to get out?
Yes, you can.
That is not...
Also, let me see. you would have taken 14 points of damage from the previous turn when you had actually struck against it, because it shares the damage with you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that would also have then been halved, so you would take 7.
Cool. Just chipping away.
Yep.
Chipping away. All right. I'm gonna roll a strength check. I'll just gotta go fast. 24.
Okay, yeah, 24. You just like now like throw your hands off of this creature that then sort of like flutters back and is like if you've seen any of those like disc-like fish swimming in the ocean where they're sort of like rippling along with their sides rather than like flapping, like that is what this creature is doing, but in the air. And it is just like looking at you. You look over and see that Caelum is just like wreathed in one of these. And then Cori's fighting a boneman that wasn't there 6 seconds ago, but he seems to be doing okay. And like in the woods, looking at this battle are like those small like bone bunny things.
Okay, I'm gonna use my bonus action to summon I'm gonna manifest an echo. I'll bring Salamar out. She doesn't get to play very often.
Okay.
And I'm gonna action surge, and I'm gonna go over and free Caelum.
All right, before you do that, roll me a d4.
Why? Like this. 2.
A 2? Okay, Salamar shows up.
Why? I'm gonna try and break Caelum out of this.
Okay, yeah, make a strength check.
18.
18. Okay. It looks like going over 20. That was like way easy. Get this the fuck off me. You're small. You could even just like, I have no bones, and like slip out the bottom, and like it wouldn't know the wiser. But with Caelum, like it seems like it has like a little bit more of like a tighter grasp on it. And as you just like separate this off, like it feels weird. Like, why does flesh feel like satin? I don't like this. Like, it is like almost like a fabric texture to it as you just like tear it off of your friend.
Okay, I did get him out though.
Yes.
Okay, well. Then that is my turn, right? Both my actions?
I believe so.
Yes.
All right,
Ooh.
so then Cori, you are face to face with the boneman. Skeletor up in this motherfucker.
That's who he is. Let me just double check what this does. Yep. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well. So, Gwen and Caelum have both been freed from their respective cloaks.
Yes.
Okay. Well, oh shit. Yeah, I forgot I had this. Sorry, I have so many spells.
Yeah? You've got so many spells, huh?
Listen, you're used to it. I'm a paladin. Like, those spell slots of smites. But speaking of,
you are grappled, mind you.
I recall I'm 30 feet away from my friends.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm not too concerned about it. Let's not make it more complicated than it needs to be. I'm gonna use Primal Guardian.
Okay.
And I'm gonna attack.
Okay, and for Primal Guardian, you choose either animal form or like a tree form, right?
Yeah, I'm doing fox.
Okay.
Final destination. But where is Primal Guardian on my list here?
Guardian of
Guardian
Nature.
of Nature, that's the one. Okay. God. All right. Using it, doing it, attacking.
Okay.
31 to hit.
That's it's a little high, but it'll do.
Okay. That's going to be 15 slashing damage. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a smite. Let's tentatively do this at 3rd level. So that's going to be... This is undead, yeah?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Okay, so 23 plus 2 is 25 radiant damage, and then 4 force damage because Primal Guardian. And then I'm going to do a second attack.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
Okay.
So that's going to be 15 plus 8, 23 slashing damage.
For sure.
4 force damage.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna smite again at 3rd level.
Okay.
You know what? I nat 20. Let's go all out.
Yeah.
We're doing a 4th level smite here.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some math here. I'm sorry. And
it's undead, so don't forget the additional dice for those.
Of course. 22 plus 4 is 26. Plus 17 is 43.
Okay.
Let me just get out a calculator. I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing the math game today. 17 plus 2 plus 4 plus 22 plus... God. 8 plus 6 is 59 radiant damage.
So a total of 59 radiant.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Jesus.
I forgot that you have sheets.
Yeah.
Would you like to do my addition for me?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
In future, I was doing the exact same thing last night. Okay, yeah, we'll do that then.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 attacks. I hit twice. My friends are over 30 feet away from me.
That is true.
My spell
Or
shield.
Arjhan is over 30 feet away from you. Caelum and Gwen are both maybe like 15 to 20 feet.
All right. Half of my level rounded down is 8.
Yep.
I'm giving each of them 8 temporary hit points because I hit twice.
Hell yeah.
Because I've suddenly remembered how to use my shield. Okay, I'm done. I'll get better at this, I swear.
Okay. And Caelum. Cori is fighting a boneman. There are 2 of these cloaked figures. Salamarn is here, and then there are those like little skull bunny things. And then like you try and spot where Arjhan is. You heard the sound of Patience landing some shots, but he's stealthy. He's a hide and bull.
As long as I've heard Patience doing the shots, Caelum figures Arjhan's fine. Steel Wind Strike on 2 cloakers and bonemen.
Okay.
He's going to appear behind the boneman.
Sure.
First one is a 18 for a cloaker.
Yeah, that'll hit.
For 32 points of force damage.
Okay.
Second cloaker is a 29
That'll hit.
for 34 points of force damage. And finally, for the boneman, that's a natural 1.
That misses.
No, it's not. It is not
Oh.
a natural 1. Not with me here.
With bountiful luck,
Bountiful luck, baby.
that's a 28.
Yeah, that'll hit.
32 points of force damage.
42?
32.
32.
Sorry.
All right. Well, it only had 20 hit points left. So Caelum, as you emerge on the other side of this thing, like one of those like push dolls where all of the bones go loose, like it very much just like collapses into a pile.
Basically, he appears behind the boneman and yanks his hand back. He had left flutter where he was standing, and it like whips around, hitting both the cloakers, just barely hitting, missing Cori, and goes right through the boneman into his hand.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So that creature is no more. Next up, Arjhan at the top of the round.
How many things are still alive?
2.
Okay, is one of them still on Gwen?
Gwen like ripped off the 2 that were on her.
Okay, cool. I want to aim for another thing that's still alive.
Yeah. No, they are both still alive. It's just they are no longer like wrapped around your friends.
Okay. I'm shooting at one. I don't particularly care which one.
One looks more injured than the other, if that helps.
I will try and snipe that one.
Okay.
It cannot see me.
That is correct.
27.
Okay, so 27 definitely hits.
For 13 points.
Okay. Still up.
34 to hit.
Also hits.
14 points.
Okay. It is looking very worse for wear. Has been shot multiple times. Deprived of its meal. But it is still kicking.
How much is it still kicking?
It's definitely bloodied and looks like another like maybe another solid volley might do the job.
Okay. I will hide again.
Okay. Sounds good. It is now time for these 2 creatures. The weaker of the 2 is going to cut its losses, and it is going to disengage and then float back up into the tree line to try and get away from the things that are fucking with it. So it is going up. It is going to try and stealth. It gets a pretty good roll on stealth. As far as seeing it with your passive perception, it is past that line. So it just sort of like goes up into the trees. Does not want to fucking deal with this right now. The second of the 2 that is still feeling hardy, sees that it is outnumbered. But at the spot that it's at, it is more focused on some general blood that it has seen coming out of at least one of you. And it is going to go up towards Gwen. As Gwen, you have made yourself separated from the party because Caelum transported with his Steel Wind Strike. So it thinks small, alone, perfect for snacky times, and it is going to try and bite out at you again. That is because you didn't reckless, I don't believe.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Well, no. I didn't attack recklessly last round.
I didn't believe so, no.
People.
Yes.
No, I was freeing people. I didn't even attack last round.
It got a 10 to hit with its bite. So as it goes to chomp out towards you, it is that very much that like cool anime thing where like you tilt your head just out of the way as it goes. But like, whatever, man. Like you've seen through this before. This isn't a new tactic. However, it did get a natural 20 with its tail.
Oh, boy.
That's okay. You're doing fine. This is great.
Just smack me with your tail. What are you?
11.
Look at this Galumba.
11 points of slashing damage with the tail.
Dokey.
And then that is all that it is able to do. And these little like skeleton creatures, these little like bone bunnies, as they are watching this happen, they seem to like lose interest knowing that like one of them already ran away. The big guy's down. Like you just see them sort of like start like receding back into the gloom of the swamp that you are in. But Gwen, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going for the one that attacked me because fuck that bitch. All right.
Look.
Recklessly attacking. 24 to hit and 29. Nope. Plus 14. 29.
Okay.
All right. First attack is 16 damage and then 5 fire damage.
Okay.
And then the second one is oh god, I lost the d6. Oh, it's right here. Cool. That's 15 slashing and 4 fire.
Okay. Sounds good. So Cori, you are up next. The only thing, the only creature that is still here that you can see is this cloaker that should have wisened up with its friend.
I run over to it. My movement speed is increased. I'm gonna attack it.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 20 to hit.
Okay.
9 slashing damage, 8 radiant, 5 force. I'm not gonna use the smite. Second attack, 24 to hit.
That'll hit.
11 slashing, 4 radiant, 4 force.
Alrighty, and that is the end of that creature. So just with two quick swipes, you put an end to this creature. No issue. And it has that rippling flutter that it does. Like, I imagine this is almost just like a straight like Zorro style cut, where it's just like down once and then straight across, and like it can't keep itself up. And it just sort of fades to the ground as this dark blood seems to seep from it. And as you were all like looking at this and staring at this cloaker, as it begins to expire, Arjhan, I would say that from the corner of your eye in your vantage point, you see on a tree, maybe about 80 feet away from you or so, what the small image of a raven that had landed and was looking at the field as this transpired and began to fly away. As it did, you watch as a knife shoots through the air and then implants itself into the belly of this raven. As it does, the raven's beak goes to caw out, but then you see that it tenses up and actually snaps itself shut as it reverts into the form of a Shadarkai. And when you see the Shadarkai as it is falling down, you can see that where the mouth would be is what looks like stretched skin that has been pulled over it as it begins to fall out of the air.
Who threw the knife?
Make a perception check.
Who's driving the tank?
17.
A 17, you do not see who threw this knife. However, following as you continue to look and the rest of you are staring in the direction of where you had heard this raven fall, there is a moment of pause. And then from that direction, you see what appears to be a black wisp of that kind of miasmatic smoke that seems to emerge from the bushes. And then there is a sound of bushes kind of shuffling as a hooded figure wearing this kind of dark clothing, black bandana style mask that's pulled up around their lower face, kind of comes out and looks at the three of you. They cannot see you, Arjhan, because you are too far away and also hidden. You can see that they are wearing almost like a bandolier of like various old knives, and they have one in their hand that they are like putting back into a small sheath along their side. And they say to your group, "You don't look like you're from around here, but I'm going to let you all know you don't want them finding out where you are."
We're aware.
Well, that makes things easy.
Friend or foe?
Depends. You work for the big one?
Nope.
Friend just as we can be. You also all made pretty quick work of everything that was going on here, so I'd rather you all be my friend. And you see them kind of like pull the hood back, and they have like this kind of like dirty red hair, but they have a almost like muted pink skin. It's not humanoid, or it's not like human coloration you would see. And they pull down that half mask that they're wearing around their face, and they give you a smile. And upon looking, you see that this is a half elf that's staring back at you. And he says, the name's Lesinor. It's nice to meet you. Or at least I hope it will be. Again, I'm really not trying to cause any problems here.
Caelum's gonna sheath his spear behind him.
Yeah, we're just we got places to be, so we can't really like. We got to get in, get out sort of situation.
Cori kind of shakes themselves a little bit, and the Primal Guardian drops. They crack their neck and give him a look up and down. Divine Sense?
Divine Sense? Nothing.
Cool. Carry on.
Yeah. And Lesinor says, get in, get out in where exactly? The swamp? It's not exactly a prime place for quick access if you don't know where you're going.
Caelum's just gonna... Sorry.
Afraid we're looking to visit the Queen.
Now again, this sort of relies on the friend and foe disparity that we had a little bit ago.
Yeah. We're not chill with her. It's cool if you are. Everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, but like,
No, I am ambivalent, I would say, towards her.
So you're like a god?
What? No.
That's omnipotent.
No, I just...
He doesn't care.
Look. As it would stand, I would like to get in to the Fortress of Memories myself. If you're all going that direction, maybe we can help each other out. I have a safe place not too far from here. I can pick up some tools, at least talk this over.
Can I?
Very much.
Yeah.
It's an insight check.
Yeah.
Make an insight check.
Oh, I got a 17. Thanks, D&D Beyond.
What does the fox who lives in my sword think of this guy?
The fox who lives in your sword, slash your ring,
Yeah.
is kind of telling you the same thing that Gwen gets with her 17 on an insight. Arjhan, what was your insight?
16.
16. So you all are like a little curious about this fellow. Like they seem like they don't seem standoffish. The fact that you are in this place, they seem almost like they're a little bit easily trusting of you all, but you're outsiders. And he recognizes that you're outsiders, and he seems to kind of be doing the same kind of look up and down at each of you as you are talking. Well, at least the ones that he can see.
Yeah, Arjhan is going to approach from behind him and just over his shoulder. And what do you want from within the Fortress of Memories?
Arjhan, as you get closer, one of the things that you notice about the robe that this individual is wearing is that it looks like it has eye-style patterns all along its all along its make, and without turning their head, just looking straight forward at the rest of you, hands at the sides, like steadily bringing them up, just says, I was told by the savior of that bird, and he points towards Serial, that the key to finding out who my parents are lies inside of that fortress. Never really knew who they were. I'm just curious. There are a lot of tales that get told living around here. I'm not sure if many of you, again, are familiar with the goings-on of this place. Our people have been here a while. And when I say our people, I mean the natural inhabitants of the land. We get told tales. We get told all sorts of things. Like the fact that beyond the realms, what my grandparents used to say is that there's this thing called a sun. Just this bright ball in the sky that's just going to sort of exist. Goes to sleep on its own, that sort of thing. Most people don't believe the stories anymore, and I'm not one to lie. I don't really believe it either. But what I do believe, based off of what the abuela told me, is that inside that fortress lies the answer that I'm looking for. Not just about my parents, not just about the sun, but everything that we've been looking for. Then, if I'm able to actually get in and find what I'm looking for, I can go back to those assholes in Toramon and prove them wrong.
I'm
Oh.
sorry. What are you trying to prove?
The existence of a sun.
No, the sun is real.
The sun is real.
And you see, like, their eyes sort of narrow, and you get the sense that they're making an insight check against you.
Oh, we're being
yeah,
truthful.
I mean, the sun is real. Also, the moon. We've been there.
And
And the earth is round.
Our
Oh, yeah. But I guess, yeah, we're on a different
I
plane
don't know
of existence.
don't know about this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume this place, the Land of Shadow, from what we've been told, from what I've been told by the people who live in Toramon, by my grandparents, by my teachers, this land itself is a grim reflection of everything that happened upon the material plane. That's what they always say. I don't know if that's true. I'd like to find out.
I
Someday.
hope they don't have a Caius.
What's a Caius?
You know what? Let's deal with
we
what
can-
we've got in front
fish.
of us.
Let's walk and talk.
Are
Like
you
I
in the
said.
creepy old tower?
And he sort of like looks at you, and then he sort of like kind of smiles and says, if somebody's already found out where it is, I suppose it's probably time to move soon anyways. And he will lead you maybe about 500 feet or so to this oddly leaning tower that seems to be like the top part of one that is in the process of like declining more into the swamp. And as he crosses over what looks like a window, not necessarily a doorway, he just like leans in and just says, watch your step, it's a bit of a doozy. And then like he takes like one step in, and then you hear the sound of his boot like splashing into some water.
Arjhan, would you mind? Thank you. Her feet dangle a little bit.
Yeah, and he takes you into this building and says, before we begin, I realized that there are certain pleasantries that I did not extend. My name is Lessinor. You can call me Lee or Lessie if you want, or play your cards right. And he like winks over towards you, Cori, and he says, you can call me Signor. I don't really know what that word means, but Abuela told me that that was something I should say to people.
It's Mister.
Oh. He just sort of like shrugs.
I think what you should really go for is if you get your cards right, you can call me Poppy.
And he thinks about it. Those
Cori
letters
kind
aren't
of-
even in my name.
Cori kind of pushes Caelum a little bit.
And you see him like move
Tabaxi?
aside he moves aside a tarp that's been set up, and as you get close, now that you can see it, it looks like he has skinned a cloaker to actually like use their skin as just general fabric, and says, "Welcome to my humble abode. I would offer you a little bit of food, but I honestly don't have that much here."
I don't need much.
Yeah, I do. I'm Gwen, by the way.
And he nods.
Wait. Has anybody been hurt significantly?
Not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
How bad?
I took like 50.
Do we need to take a rest?
We can rest and
brief one.
talk.
More
Yeah.
than welcome to do it here.
Long enough for tea?
What's tea?
Caelum, by the way.
Oh, you poor soul. Cori slips off their pack and begins to set up tea.
Okay. And as you say, you poor soul, and begin to make tea for what you're assuming is the first time for Lee. That is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. We're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We've returned from our break, and I am just... There is a tension that you audiocast listeners do not get to experience, but man, alive, I am fucking...
Steven,
Yeah?
when does a joke become a dad joke?
When?
Whenever the punchline becomes apparent.
Oh!
LB's left. She's fucking gone.
I'll be.
That was incredible.
Good.
It's been 2 weeks. Nobody
forgot
had
to-
this planned.
Look,
Yeah,
it's
well-
okay.
Confirm.
the fucking show started, and I was all like, oh no.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna make a Google calendar with just a reminder. I will ask all of you to join it.
A ghoul calendar?
A Google calendar.
Google.
Yeah.
Oh,
Google.
a Google calendar. I heard ghoul, like a spirit calendar, and I was like, the
You're-
fuck is this about?
You're still in Halloween brain, man.
Yeah.
I also heard Ghoul Calendar.
I have trouble enunciating things sometimes.
That's okay.
I clearly do because I just said calendar.
That's how colloquialists.
Calendar.
And with all of this joyous laughter and raucous givings, let's go back to the land of despair, shall we? So,
Already there.
you guys are in this like pseudo sinking tower with your new compatriot. I wouldn't call him a friend just yet because you just met him and your group has a few trust issues with new people. But the individual known as Lessinor. They are a half-elf with reddish hair and sort of like a muted pinkish skin. And they have agreed, or at least are in acceptance of allowing you into their home. Gwen introduced herself. Cori has agreed to make some tea. And I think that when we come back, the tea will have been finished steeping. Do you all introduce yourself to this individual?
Yeah.
Yeah, we exchange names.
Lessinor, quick question to you.
Yeah.
How do you avoid the whole teleportation problem when you make camp?
I don't know what you're talking about.
About last night, we made camp somewhere and woke up in a totally different place.
And you just, like, you set out your pitons, you made your tent,
Well,
rested, and then you just woke up and you were in a different place?
I made an extra dimensional space where we could rest.
See, that's your problem right there. Magic doesn't work a lot of the same ways here, especially when it comes to getting out. So even if you made an extra dimensional space, my guess is that it doesn't play by the same rules coming back in. At least after, again, extended period of time, and if no one was looking at it.
Oh, so it's an object permanence thing. There needs to be someone there to view where you're staying for it to
Possibly.
hold.
Sounds very Feywild to me.
I'm not exactly... I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but I'm not magically oriented, if that makes sense.
Right. It's fair. Tea?
I have no idea what that is, but...
It is
willing to try.
steeped
Hot
leaves
drink.
and water.
Leaves and water? That doesn't sound very delicious.
It is a hot drink.
It is a hot
not.
drink.
He...
I mean, it is a hot drink. It's not delicious.
And, like, you see, like, he sort of, like, squints his eyes a little bit.
I'm about to blow this man's mind. I put honey in his drink.
Oh!
And
Caelum, no, it's too much.
you see that he goes to, like, take a sippy. Fuck, that's hot. And when he takes that sip, he just, like, immediately just, like, like, it's like it is too much. It is far too sweet for him. He just, is this common where you're all from? This,
Unfortunately. Cracker?
When you just can't say that on live TV.
and he will extend his hand out and take it, and he, like, bites in to this, like, probably, like, unsalted, plain-ass cracker, and he's just like, you can see that there is a look of satisfaction, like, oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
He
And
probably doesn't have a sweet tooth, Caelum. Cori just switches cups with him.
yeah, and he then, like, looks at it, looks at you, sniff, 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 and, like, just seems to, like, take a sip of said tea, and this time, like, you can see that there is that just, like, not as bad as it could have been. A little warm.
I'll take it.
And he just sort of, like, he just lets it sit there until it's, like, a little bit more drinking temperature.
So, do you know a way into the fortress?
Yeah. I've
By-
been, not the fortress proper, but I have been into Eventide. At the base of the Fortress of Memories, the big castle-looking thing that I'm assuming you've all seen if you're planning on going there. There is a city. It's well defended by the Ravens. Has been since before the Long War. I've been able to get in a few times. Sort of look around. It helps if you know how to maintain an air of stealth about you. And when he says that, he looks over towards Gwen and Cori, and then looks over towards you, Caelum, and then looks towards Arjhan and just sort of like, you'd be fine. The rest of you might have to make less noise when you're going into a place like that, if possible.
It's okay. Caelum can turn me into a duck.
I'm guessing he's your wizard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the hitty one and the one who gets hit.
Well, if you have a hitty one, there might be another way into Eventide. Something that would make things a little bit easier.
Okay.
There's a series of tunnels that go near the city. Originally, they were meant for, funerals, but when the ravens stopped dying and started turning into gases, it didn't exactly need the burial tunnels anymore. From what I can gather, they run fairly close to the sewer system that's beneath Eventide. If someone was strong enough, and based off of what your friend is saying, Gwen, that you are strong enough, well, a wall is a wall.
Until it's a hole.
We could turn that hole into a doorway into the underside of the city, and from the underside of the city, then we could make our way towards the fortress. Fortress uses the same sewers as everywhere else.
Have you been into these funeral tunnels? Do you know what the layout's like? What kind of things will be in there?
As far as things that are in there, nothing too pretty. I can tell you that much. The stuff that's out here, the undead, cloakers, those kinds of things, you don't really have to worry about too much. Once you get out of the swamp anyways. Through the wastes, well, you have to worry about the collectors, the spirits, the will-o-wisps. But in the burial chambers, a lot of undead. A lot of undead that would prefer that you not be there.
Fortunately for us, I'm the shiny one, which means I can handle undead.
So I saw. So if we have a means of making the undead either uncaring or piles of bones.
Bone. Cori points.
If we can do that.
Bone!
Yes, I heard you. The first bone. Yes.
I'm not,
No,
I'm not talking to you. You don't know about our bone.
Here, let me show you my bone.
No, guys. Implications.
We received this boon from someone out in the, back there, and apparently if we use it, we can speak with the undead. They'll be friendly to us for a time.
Well, that makes things a little bit easier.
Well, I do think it's in a range, so might want to use it when we're desperate.
I'll trust your discretion on that one. It's your bone. You can use it as you want.
God damn it.
However,
Can we just call it the relic, please?
you were the one who called it a bone. If you want to call it a relic from now on, I'm more than willing to party on that one.
I have a question.
Hopefully I have an answer.
You've been mentioning that the travel to and from extra dimensional spaces is difficult at best. Teleportation between planes is also similarly.
If that one was on board, I don't think that my grandparents would have stuck around here.
Well, we are the heroes of the mortal realm, so if you're going to get out, it's going to be with us.
We'll see how far that goes.
Is it all teleportation or?
As far as I can tell, if you're looking for a quick jaunt somewhere, if you're going from a point A to a point B here, no problem. Some problem, but for the most part, if it's up to about 60 feet or so, no real issue. There are others that have dabbled with the closer to about 500-foot range, and mixed results at best.
So dimension doors off the table then.
Is this extraplanar travel, well, the issues with it, her doing?
My guess it would be the nature of this place. From what they taught us in Toraman, it had something to do with the creation of the Queen. That when she became what she is today, that holes were torn open in the sky. That originally we were all from a place that had this sunlight in it. And then, for some reason, my ancestors decided that they wanted to be here, of all places. That they could make a stake for themselves, that they could lay claim to some of this new land that had been discovered. So they all came here. And then they realized that they couldn't go back. Toraman's the last of our cities. Well, last one standing.
Well, I suppose we'll be tackling that problem at its source. Cori just takes a sip of tea.
You're really planning on going up against her?
Yeah, honestly, she's like the fifth god we've the fifth god we've gone up against, and, you know, we're still here, so. Kind of just like another Tuesday, am I right?
What's Tuesday?
It's the worst day of the week.
I guess it would kind of always be like Tuesday around here then.
Yeah, that's why we need to get the fuck out as soon as we can. So we got a plan. When are we going to go?
Well, and he stands up and goes over to the trunk that was kind of placed against the wall that Arjhan had seen earlier. And you see that he pulls out a scroll as well as what looks like another dagger. And he sets the scroll and the dagger onto the table. And this dagger is sheathed still, but he, or I guess he wouldn't set it onto the table. He would set the scroll and then he places the dagger onto his hip. And then unfurls the scroll. And it looks like partial maps have been made, kind of just really rudimentary ones. And he says, from what I've been able to see of Eventide, this is the general layout of the city. If you were planning on going above ground, which I highly recommend we do not, if we're all going about this together, you would need to go down these pathways to get to the center fortress. I've been able to spot it generally from what I've been able to gather. I haven't been able to get there myself. If I had, I doubt we would be having this conversation. The tunnels, I'm guessing, again, I know where they connect to the sewer. As far as what the layout of the sewer is, generally speaking, a sewer system goes off of main thoroughfare. What the general roads are. If we take the sewer to where we know the fortress is, there might be blocks, there might be gates in the way, but that's where your strength would come in handy. That's where your cunning would come in handy. That's where your magic would come in handy. And then that's where I'm sure your ability to turn the undead would also come in quite handy. I don't know what exactly lies in the sewers, but if it's anything like what's in the surface or in the tunnels, I'm guessing that it's not that good.
It's a shit show either way. All right. From his maps, and what he has told us about where the sewers is in the thoroughfare, could I make a history check to try and do like a generalized layout of the sewers and what I know from like my knowledge?
Yes.
Like what I want to do is try and path away into the center fortress that's short.
You can try. You can certainly try.
$29.
Okay. A 29. Based off of the general town and like the layout that has been provided by Lee, as you're looking at it, you have a general sense of where the sewers might be. This is old architecture. This is like old city layout, like kind of like when you look at like grid-based city planning and then you look at like classic city planning, like that kind of thing. Like this is very much a like, it's kind of up in the air as to whether or not this will be the correct path or not, but you're assuming based off of other cities that you've studied that this might be the way that it goes. But as far as like a dedicated like, yep, nope, it's gonna go right here to here to here, you're just not really sure.
Okay.
But
He'll
you at least have a general sense.
he'll take out some scrapped parchment and kind of look over the map and start tracing out what he thinks is the sewer route, underlay it underneath the parchment, and like hold it against a light source. I guess something like that might work.
And Lee sort of like squints his eyes and looks towards it and kind of like rubs his chin and then just nods and says, "We should be able to get in. That'd be my guess anyways. Again, once we get into the actual underside of the fortress, we're either going to need some way to steadily get up into it, hope that there's a doorway, or make our own. If we're making our own, unless you have any way to do that," motioning towards Caelum, "we might be making a little bit of noise, but generally speaking, could
Give
be
me
easier."
give me a bit to look over my spell book. I think there might be something in here. Let's look through Caelum's spell book. Nope. Legend lore. That could come in handy.
Legend lore on the sewers of on the Fortress of Memories.
I mean, if there is some sort of floodgate or entranceway, I could use an animate object spell on it to let us pass freely.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I suppose we're just going to have to wait until we have eyes on it.
I'm kind of like Gwen. I hit hard, but like in the magic sense.
Yeah, I could hear. You're not exactly quiet with your casting.
All right. Now or never, I guess.
All right, let's fucking do it.
Cori cleans up the tea.
You all seem very gung-ho about what you're doing here, and it's the right attitude to take. And you see he just like slams the remainder of his tea and just sort of makes like a yeah kind of face and then like hands it back to you, Cori.
Well, the Raven Queen does have my daughter, so you can count that as a bit of inspiration on this charge.
And Lee just sort of like shakes his head, just, you are all in it with her.
I think you could call it personal.
Yeah.
You said before, forgive me. You said before, the ravens don't die.
Yeah. They used to. At one point. Then she got smart. Well, smarter. Ever notice that when any of them die, they just sort of into smoke and feathers? It's them going home.
Cori's brow knits, and they look over at the rest of the group and just says, she doesn't let them die.
Ugh, that's really fucked up.
If it helps, they don't they don't keep their memories.
As we've seen, that's kind of worse.
Cori, sorry, Lee, just real quick. Group huddle?
Take your time. I need to get packed up anyways if we're going to be all going about this.
Oh.
I should tell him.
What do you want to tell him?
I'm Shatter Kai.
Okay. Is that a secret?
Kind of hard to tell with the mask on.
Oh, yeah.
He might have some they might have some reservations against, the people.
Yeah, but you're not, I mean, you're kind of a lich, right?
Yeah, I don't think that makes it any better.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, the devil you know.
Also,
And you're not necessarily like them.
yeah. Also, is it a hereditary thing? Because if I die, do I go back to the little doll, or do I just get snapped back into the Fortress of Memory?
Well, clearly she doesn't have hold of you, or else she would have gotten you when you've died previously.
Out there, in here, it might be different.
Well, then we just can't let you die.
Yeah, don't do that. Sorry.
Hey, Lee,
Look
I'm
at
gonna
your
lore
eyes.
dump on you real quick.
Okay.
And Lee just like over by this trunk, you see is like putting, like they have what looks like a dagger, but the hilt is made of like fused silver pieces that they then just like stick into their bandolier and just, all right.
I'm gonna need you to not freak out.
And Lee stands there and says, and when you say not freak out, he says, not freak out as in I should have my hands raised, or not freak out as in I should be sitting down for this one.
Yes.
And he will, just like from where he's standing, very dexterously like crosses his legs a little bit and just goes into like a crisscross seat and just puts his hands up where you can see them.
So a very long time ago, a Shatterkai baby made it to the material plane. Was not raised Shatterkai, was raised to be a cleric.
Is
He's
this gonna
back
be
here
one
to
of those
save his daughter.
situations? That's the one.
Yeah. Take that as you will. As long as you are helping us, I don't mean to sound this threatening, but no harm shall come upon you on my end.
See, you say that it's not a threat, but that does sound awfully threatening.
Sorry, I grew up not really
puts a-
sociable.
Like puts a finger up and says, you don't talk as quietly as you think that you do. I don't care if you're a Shatterkai.
Sweet.
And he motions to himself and says, If I had a problem with Shadar Kai, I would have done something about myself a long time ago.
Wait, what?
He just like blank stare looks at you, and he says, "There aren't exactly a whole lot of elves around here."
So
I'm not first generation, if that's what you're thinking.
So it's the first generation that are basically beholden to the Raven Queen.
What? No. What?
I might not be on the same page as you here.
All right, I'm gonna let you in on my own lore dump, if you will.
Hands down.
And
Crisscross applesauce is in front of him.
Yeah, and he just like puts his hands down as well, and like sets them onto his knees, and says, "When we first started colonizing, I say we, being the Hogren Empire, we showed up. Initially, not all the Shadar Kai were animositous towards us. They helped us in certain ways. We helped them in others. Then mages discovered that there is a underlying sense of, they call it the thread, the weave, something along those lines that goes through this place. They wanted it for themselves. Raven Queen, being the deity that she is, didn't particularly like that. Hence, that is where the Long War, also known as the War of the Ravens, began. Hogren Empire versus an Undying Army. Undying Army, I think, has a little bit of a higher chance. Before that happened, the fresh ones, the newest Shadar Kai, from what Grandpa told me. He was kind of a dick. What he told me was that there were, early on, commingling between the two. And he motions to himself, a degree. Because of that, there are a few of us half-elves out there. Not very many.
All right.
At this point, it's really more just my ears are slightly pointed and I have, well, a certain coloration, one might say.
Right.
That, and I'm a little bit more adept at surviving in these lands than other folk.
Are there still a contingent of Shadar Kai that are not underneath the Raven Queen's influence?
If there was, they died out long, long ago.
And filled her ranks. Got it.
Can you even imagine what that must have been like? Shadar Kai, non-beholden to the Raven Queen, still living in the Hogren Empire. Hogren starts getting all weird and xenophobic. Those same people that were trying to seek asylum, who die, they see on the battlefield the next day. Interesting, to say the least.
One's in the background just like, that's not very different than what we do.
Necromancer. Hopefully, when we're done here, we can stop that cycle.
I'm rooting for you. I really am. Because if you all die, well, all 5 of us are in there. And it's just me that's left. I don't exactly think I'm going to be making it out. And I kind of enjoy living.
I suppose we shall all have to look out for each other.
Yeah, and if you betray us, I will split you in twain.
All right.
I think we made that clear with the whole doesn't sound like a threat thing, but it actually is.
I
Uh,
am very
no, that-
familiar with threats.
That was a threat. I just, you seem pretty cool, and but I just have to, as the party's, security. It's more like a redlining thing.
I'll let you all know right now. Why? I'll pose a question. It's rhetorical. Why would I betray a group from the outside who's made it clear that they don't like the Raven Queen and are planning on going into her fortress to fight her head on, when I also want to go into the Fortress of Memories, the same place where you're going? I don't care one way about fighting her or not. Personally, I think that's suicide. But I am a man of honor. I was raised that much. If you help me in, you take me to the place where I can find out who my family is, who my parents are, I'll help you on your thing. I want to know. And the easiest way for me to know is to go into that vault.
All right.
From what we had heard, based off of back when things were a little bit more succinct between our groups. The vault is full of things. Precious memories appear as precious materials. Mundane things are mundane memories. But you'll always know which one are yours. Throughout the entire vault, you'll know which ones are yours.
All right, Les. Guess we're gonna move out in about 30.
Nods again. And you see, when you say move out in 30, again, he nods and then just like goes over to the trunk, pulls out what looks like a loaf of old bread that like he can't even like pull fresh bits off of. He takes one of his knives and just like stabs into the top part, and it's almost like he's chipping a rock. Then he takes out some water, puts it into like a very like old cup, puts the bread into the water to help soften it up for a little bit, and then just pops it in.
You're gonna have a time on the material.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
What do we do?
I'm thinking we hit the sewers, take those funeral tunnels in. If you're okay with that, Arjhan.
I've been sitting here contemplating whether or not we would actually be able to circumnavigate this, but it sort of hinges on whether or not we would be able to get to the house.
Sorry, remind me again, which house?
Our house.
Oh. You're muted, LB.
In our house, it wasn't important.
We could try to summon Gideon here. I do have a few more silver doorknobs.
Sounds like a bad idea.
It does. It would be risky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, perhaps it'd be able to get here easily, but I
My-
doubt that it would be able to leave.
My thought would be to attempt to get into the house. You all wait there. I find a way in. and then open the door on the other side.
I mean, if you don't, I mean, unless you think it's too dangerous, I'm down.
Wonder if that researcher back there has a spell book that I could take a gander at.
The necromancer?
Asshole. If things go sideways down there in the tunnels, Arjhan, I'd like for us to be there with you.
Well, in this hypothetical plan, I wouldn't be going in the tunnels.
Up and over? Quietly?
Yeah.
Caelum, how many people can you cast polymorph on?
Well, one at the moment. I didn't think to take the didn't think to research into mass polymorph. Though, what can I do?
Because if we just want Arjhan to do all of the sneaking, bag
Polymorph
of
all
mice.
of us. Yeah. Maybe. Hold on. It'll take some doing, but I think I might be able to do it. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves as RJ does some quick research.
Caelum's nose goes into a book.
Arjhan,
Yes.
come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do this by yourself?
I feel like it's less risky than going in, drawing attention to ourselves, and also having to cut our way through a whole bunch of undead.
Are you just uncomfortable about there being a bunch of undead?
Well, obviously, but I also think that we'll be drawing a lot of attention to ourselves.
Okay. Just making sure. I just kind of want to go.
I also really just, want to go. I feel like this is a much more direct way of doing this.
Okay. Break. She claps.
And Lee just like looks over at your group. He's on like his third like chunk of hard bread that he's been dipping in water.
Have you ever had beer?
And he sort of like looks at you. It's like the fermented moss water, right?
Lord, pulls out her alchemy jug. Beer. Oh, okay. Thanks for the Foley.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Here, try this.
And he
goes to drink it, and then Cori's hand goes over it. How strong is that moss water?
And he just sort of like looks at you and strong, like.
You ever been inebriated?
There's some wild
Drunk.
grasses around here.
Just have a few sips. It's fine. It's a light brew. We're
Cori,
day
like-
drinking.
Cori takes their hand away and then just like keeps an eye on him.
And Lee like looks at you. And he takes like, you just pass him a jug and say, only take a few sippies though.
Yes.
So he like sniffs it at first and just like looks at you, Gwen, looks at Cori, and then he just sort of like sets the jug back down.
Did you make an IPA?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he sort of looks and just I understand experimenting with poisons.
Oh, no. No, this is for Gwen is going to take it and then drink from it.
And he
It's
just sort of like looks at you. Says,
it's more for the taste, and it warms your body.
yeah.
You drink IPAs for the taste?
I have a very discernible palate, and it is not good.
Listen,
I can drink anything as long as it gets me drunk.
I'm not one for Illustra pale ales. Just putting it out there.
Eluskin Pale Ale. Incredible.
Eluskin.
Illustrian.
I feel like Eluskin pale ale is actually
That's
more
the
fitting.
Faerunian version, yeah. For fucking sure. And Lee just says, how about this? How about after everything that we do, once we're all done, we can share some of that lesser poison.
Fine. Gwen downs it. Don't want to waste it. Wait, is it bad if I finish it? Is that one of the things?
So,
It's an alchemy jug. You're
Yeah.
probably fine.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's only
Caelum.
4 gallons.
hey,
Only 4
Cori.
gallons of beer.
Caelum would like to share his research.
Hey, Cori.
Hmm?
Would you happen to have a dispel magic in your repertoire?
That's a good question. I changed paladins at some point. Let me double check.
Because if anything, I can cast a dispel magic into the ring of storing or spell
do.
storing.
I do have a dispel magic.
Cool. Here's a thought. I could turn into a purple worm and we could just burrow into the city. Avoid the funeral tunnels.
Won't that make like tremors and shit?
How
If
are
I
we
burrow-
supposed to follow behind a worm? They're like this big.
Caelum will move
Yeah.
his book in front of him to show the sketch of a purple worm that he's made.
And that's to
It's-
scale?
It's literally
Yeah,
like
this little thing down here is like Caelum
If you see
size.
this little
No, that's a
person-
person.
it's the drawing in the player's handbook that like shows size models. It's all like this is small size, this is medium sized,
It's that
large.
exponential growth.
Mm-hmm.
gargantuan.
These are like apex predators where you're from, right? Like they have taken over everything, I'm guessing.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
They are very high up the food chain, but surprisingly, no, they're not apex predators.
They don't just consume
Nice.
everything and turn it into a massive desert.
No.
There
Actually,
are things that consume these.
yeah.
Is that a Dune reference? Are we doing Dune references?
Actually, purple worms are very good for the environment and mining towns. Their caverns are typically filled with unprocessed metals.
And it processes the metals by eating them.
And
No.
pooping them out, yes.
Shit.
Let me have something!
You're pretty, Gwen.
Okay. So, there's my half-ass plan, which involves fucking with teleportation magic in an area that is known to fuck with it. There is Caelum's plan of purple worming up through the castle.
Well, not through the castle per se, but if I could get a guesstimation of where that break-in is between the funeral tunnels and the sewage, we could just bust on through without having to deal with any of the undead.
Or cut a undead bloody swath through sewers and hope that we can find a way up into the castle.
That too.
I like the
wouldn't-
wormy plan.
Yeah.
All right, but we're going to have to do it in a way that it's not going to cause tremors in the surface, because that would be a giveaway, you know?
Yeah. If I hold that form for more than an hour, it becomes permanent. So, hey, that's why I asked for the dispel magic.
Caelum, hand on your shoulder. I can end any spell you want me to. Without using a spell slot.
Can you end the spell known as depression?
That's not a spell. That's a character type. It doesn't say humanoid there, it just says depressed.
Yeah, we would just need to be able to time it correctly, and I have another spell that lasts an hour that we could use to gauge it.
All right. Haven't turned into a purple worm before. This will be fun.
Yeah. Are we going to go ahead with this?
Yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Lee just like nods and says, I mean, I had a plan to get us in, but this seems I'm
Convoluted and ridiculous. Yes, that's where we go. That is our road
I
that
was
we
going
take.
to say interesting, as well as I've never seen one of these purple worm things before, and I would be lying if I said I was a mite bit curious, or I wasn't curious rather.
Senor Lesson, I'm sure that the DM worked really hard on the undead encounter.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo.
Is there a significant amount of rope in the area, or do we have enough on us?
Rope?
Yes.
Uh,
Purple worm, go fast. We need to trail behind it.
Purple worm make hole.
Purple
Go through
worm.
hole.
I don't think we'll lose it if that's what you're worried about.
I love high level D&D. This is some dumb shit, and I'm so here for it.
Oh yeah, we got to go through this maze. What maze? Says the wizard.
Okay, so when you start talking about rope, Lee kind of bites on his finger a little bit and says, I only have about 150 feet.
I've got 50.
How big is if that
So with the
picture is to
50
scale?
with the 50 feet of rope, will we be able to tie a pretty significant harness around it, and then be able to use the 100 feet of rope to make a couple
sled.
Well, not a sled,
Like a
but
wakeboard that we can all sit on.
Cori throws their shield down, just stands on it.
I was thinking, I know Cori and Arjhan have shields.
And I can ride Arjhan.
Gonna
Yeah.
do some breath and wild in this bitch.
We are doing the sand seal stuff, except on a Molduga.
No. Okay, this will be fun.
And Lee just looks at this plan as a base level, and you can see that there is there's just vapid expression of just what the fuck is going, you know what?
For
Sure.
size comparison, just think about this tower.
Okay, if we have this tower to go off of, let's figure out the rope situation. If we need more, I know where to get some. But the collectors don't exactly like me taking things from there.
Now, when you say collectors, are they more, go out and grab stuff a la scavenger, or
Couldn't you fabricate some rope?
I could if I had prepped the spell?
Collectors. Giant mechanical monstrosities made by necromancers. Originally, they were meant to go out onto the battlefield, find bodies, pop them onto their backs, take them back to the necromancers, and then they would do their thing. Now,
I don't like that at
the
all.
necromancers are dead, but their goal, their job, is still to go out and collect gear. So they collect as much gear as they can. They take them to stockpiles. The only problem is, problem. And he makes a hand wavy kind of motion, yeah. these collectors don't operate on the same functions. So one collector will see another stockpile as things that it needs to take. So you find stockpiles all around the wastes, sometimes small groupings of weapons, other times large groupings of weapons, gear, other things that were left behind during the War of the Ravens.
It's just a morbid game of capture the flag.
What's that? I'm assuming capture the flag is like what they're playing based off of the analogy. So yes.
50 feet of rope comes out of Caelum's portable hole.
And Lee just sort of like looks at the portable hole, just like, my God, what I would give for one of these.
Play your card right, and well,
When we get
You all
back to the
keep
material
saying that I
plane,
need to play my cards right, that if all things go well, how about this? How about we just focus on getting into the fucking place?
yeah, let's just fucking go,
Like,
okay?
don't give me things to hope for. Hope doesn't last long here. It's Tuesdays all year round.
the Shadowfell is the November of the months.
Hey, I like November. You take that
That's
back.
depressing.
All right. Lee pulls out his 150 feet of rope. And then together you attempt to tie around this tower just to gauge it. And it works, and there is still like maybe like 25 feet of rope that's off of it, right? Or no, if he had 150, there's still like, I'd say there's like a good 75 feet of rope that still comes out. I would think. Minimum.
While we're like gauging the size of this rope, like Cori, like pulling on the rope, kind of like looks over at Caelum and just says, "How intelligent is a purple worm? Are you going to be able to stay on task?"
If I focus really hard on trying to get to this thing, I think it'll work out. They're not that smart. But from my experimentations with the spell, I should view you all as my friends still, so no backlash.
And Lee just sort of like hand raised.
Yes, Lee.
Friend.
Friend.
Thumbs up.
Under what circumstances do I end the spell on you?
Hopefully when we get there, if you need me to stop at any point in time, you know, rampage-wise.
All right.
How fast can you burrow?
Oh, let me do some mental math. About 30 feet every 6 seconds. 60 if I really hustle.
As a pseudo guide for this situation, I just want to know how long you're going to be in that form as far as distance goes, so that way I can find us a place that's a good entryway.
Let's find us a place that it doesn't take me an hour to get there.
45 minutes. Got it. So tell me how fast you can go on a minute-by-minute basis.
You're gonna have to make me fucking do the mental math, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
600 feet.
600 feet, yeah. Per minute.
We should be able to find a place in the wastes. Either that or a little bit closer up, but we'll probably want at least some cover in doing this.
Yeah. If I could start underground, all the more the better.
And he said, Lee says, well, there's the start of the tunnels that we would have been going into anyways. If you just want to make a hard veer. Or just go down below straight and then We'll figure out how to make you go upwards when we get there. But if we're breaking in through the sewers, through the ground, that is going to be quite a ruckus. Do you have the ability to make a environment silent?
Not one that could move with us.
It doesn't need to move. If you have a ring that you can put spells into, when you break through the ground, one of us can cause the silence to prevent the sound of infrastructure breaking beneath the city.
I've got a question. Out of character.
Yeah.
Would Pass Without a Trace work on a purple worm?
As long as it's within 10 feet and you view it as a friendly. You're still destroying a bunch of infrastructure. That would make the worm silent, not, the sewer falling in.
Patience is expended. So I wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay. I do not have silence prepared. That'd be like a tomorrow thing.
It'll take us a little bit to get to where we need to go. If all of you need to wait until I would say morning, but if you need to wait a full rest, we can get there. You can rest there. You do it the old-fashioned way, so that way you aren't disappearing. Take watches. Make sure the ravens don't come to see us. If they do, I'll take care of them.
That's a cleric spell. I cannot, in fact, silence myself. Never mind. It is a bard cleric ranger spell.
Silence?
Yeah.
Oh.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. So Lee gets a small satchel with him. He's got his stuff on. He's ready to go out wherever you guys are, or whenever you guys are.
Let's go.
Okay. So he puts his hood up. Once again, kind of pulls that half mask over his face. And then you see that he kind of crouches a little bit lower as he's walking through these woods, kind of taking a more stealthy approach, as it were. And he encourages you all to do the same. So if there are, unless you just want to walk brazenly, I would like a group stealth check.
$27.
I got a natural 20 and then a 12, so that makes 11.
You have disadvantage on stealth?
Yeah, my armor. I'm wearing a breastplate.
Oh, gotcha.
I got a 4.
I also got a 4.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm
So,
stealthier than...
yep, the guy with the breastplate is stealthy, and as you're all making your way forward, Lee is doing his best to, again, stay low to the ground. You can, the strangest thing for you, Arjhan, is that watching him walk forward, his feet aren't making noise as he is making his steps. He seems almost even when he's moving, he is part of the environment. He is in his element, in the same way that you feel like you are whenever you are able to be within the shadows as well. The rest of your party, though, just clang, 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 as you are all walking forward. And as you are walking forward, there is a moment where Lee puts his hand up and then looks in a direction, and then to your group says, we need to go now. And he begins to run. I would like for everybody to roll initiative as we enter into a skill challenge.
Ooh. 9.
Okay.
14.
17.
5.
Caelum got a 17.
Yeah.
Wait, Caleb's going first?
Caelum is going first.
Everything's gone topsy-turvy.
Shit's gone sideways if the wizard with -1's going first.
It's
Okay.
because it's a skill challenge.
So, in the woods coming from behind you, you hear what sounds like branches moving and being crushed by something much larger, and you can hear the telltale sounds of that child's birthday party once again making its way towards your group. Caelum, you are going first in the skill challenge to make your way out of the swamp and escape, essentially. Meat time. Thank you, Levi.
No, not meat time. So I'm gonna use a spell because we do have a day of rest to recoup. Caelum starts running forward. His gait changes as he drops to all fours as he casts True Polymorph on himself. I'm taking the form of a steel predator.
Okay.
What is that?
They are specifically made for assassinations. Don't worry about it. But it is a large quadrupedal, almost mechanoid style creature. It's covered in armor. It has the owl mask in front of it, and it'll pick Gwen up by like the scruff.
You guys
How
saw a
many-
steel predator back in one of your times to Sigil?
Yes.
Oh
They
my
were
God.
like patrolling around.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, what the fuck did you see? A steel predator?
When Gwen and Caelum went on a trip. Anyway, I'm
So-
gonna use survival to basically guide the group out of here.
Okay.
And they have a +7, so here we go. 24.
Okay, that is a success. So then next up would be Lee. But he's not going to be doing, obviously, parts of the skill challenge. So he is going to assist Cori at the end of the round. You called him Senor. He's totally on board for this.
Hell yeah.
So then next up in the initiative order is Arjhan.
Oh, fuck.
Survival was used.
I'm gonna post what a steel predator looks like in Knights. If I could find it.
I would like to. I would like. I want to hang back and draw its attention to a particular place. But then, once it has the attention, very quietly go somewhere else to give everybody else more time to escape.
Okay. And what skill would you like to associate with that?
I would love to be able to do stealth with that.
Okay. You would be able to do stealth on this, but in order to hang back and then proceed to stealth, if there's a failure, this creature will take notice of you specifically.
Okay.
Okay.
23.
23, that is a success. No worries there. So this Grim King is making its way forward. And Arjhan, you manage to like hang back and then just quickly
hang back, let it like go past me.
Yeah.
And then just like, hey, ugly, and then
Okay. And as you say, hey, ugly, you see that it's like its head twists in the way, like in a very unnatural way, because a lot of it is like neck growing into where a head should be. But it's almost like looking at like a water balloon when you twist it in half, where it just has that like far too past tension point as it swivels around. And from its back, you actually see crawling out of like these wicker bones that it seems to have are those like skull bunny things that are just sort of like rolling over each other on this. And they like sort of like begin to chatter and point towards you as the creature then like its legs like double back and it begins walking backwards towards you as its body begins to start righting itself. So that is 2 successes. Next up, Gwen.
All right, Gwen is going to. Am I in this thing's mouth? You picked me up.
Yeah, the steel predator has like grabbed you by like the shirt collar, I am assuming, and has like lifted you.
Okay. Okay. Describe what's directly in front of me.
Directly in front of you, the steel predator moves with a quickness. So you are seeing that there are like overturned logs, there are large trees, large rocks, that kind of thing. Like you are running through a swamp, effectively. But right now it's very difficult to see and judge where there is, like if there are any sinkholes or any deep spots. And from what you can see, what's your passive perception?
16.
So with the 16, with your passive perception, looking up and around, like trying to judge, also you cannot be surprised. You see that there are more of those banner-like creatures, the cloakers, that are making their way through the trees that seem to sort of be like following along from the tops.
Okay, and I am under the impression that the gig is up. Being quiet isn't super necessary in this moment.
Yeah, you don't think that being super quiet would help.
Okay, but being loud wouldn't hurt.
Being loud, would you rather be dead or be loud? This is the Gwen conundrum.
I know, it's true. It's true. Gwen is going to, I'm going to throw up Sunforger up into those bitches and explode it.
Okay.
All right, so they need to make a dex save, please.
So with a dex save...
15.
That is a natural 20.
Ooh, okay.
However, make your... So what skill would you like to associate with this? Because it is a skill challenge.
Athletics?
Okay. So make an athletics check if you're trying to like knock one directly into it.
Okay. 16?
A 16 is not going to be enough.
Okay.
So
Should I still roll damage?
So roll for damage.
Okay. That's 18.
Okay, so with an 18, a lot of the wood splinters around, and it seems like the bright light that is associated with the Sunforger causes like these cloakers to like not want anything to do with that. Like you have like essentially flashbanged them by throwing something like that towards there. However, that flashbang, there are many creatures in this woods who are very curious about a source of bright, loud light that they are not necessarily familiar with.
Gwen turns back to Leslie and just goes, "That's what the sun looks like!"
He just hisses at you. Why would you do that? And like, it's like has like panned back to help out your heavily armored friend that he thought was going to be the fucking noisemaker on this one. Next up, Cori.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Tree Stride.
Okay.
And my goal is to pop into a tree then pop out of a tree far away and make a noise to try and distract all of the critters into that direction. Then pop back into that tree and go to a different tree and distract critters that direction. Like, I'm just gonna try and, like, draw the creatures away from the party.
Okay. And what skill would you like to associate with this?
I was thinking deception.
Deception works.
Like a jukin.
Yeah, you will have advantage on this with Lee's help.
Okay. How's about a 24?
That's a very good deception.
Paladin!
Because paladins are good at deception, I guess.
I'm not even trained.
God damn it.
Picked up a few things from Shar, didn't we?
Shut the fuck up.
So yeah, you start like tree stride, going to a tree, spot, making these calls.
Look over here!
And Lee, I think, like, catches on to what you're doing. And he is, you see that he, like, reaches into his bag and pulls out what looks like a whistle, that he then cups into his hands. And as you see his cheeks, like, fill with air and then blow into it, you hear his voice about 60 feet away,
Nice.
from amongst the trees, also doing the same thing as he just, like, blows into it, keeps running, runs maybe, like, 20 feet more, blows into it, kind of
wanna
taking
say-
one from your book.
I want to say that the reason that he sees Cori do this and, like, catches on so fast is because he was, like, looking after them to try and, like, make sure that they didn't make too much noise.
Yeah.
And as he, like, turned to help Cori, just watched them go straight into a tree, just like...
Mm-hmm. All right, so then at the top of the round, Caelum, as the Steel Predator.
Perception check to avoid, gnarled tree roots on the ground, just make passage a lot easier.
Yeah.
I'll just -1 off of this.
12.
Okay, a 12. You are not used to this body. I would say, as you are, like, trying to, like, you're looking at the trees, you're trying to make sure that there aren't any, like, widowmakers that are caught up, and as you go to, like, jump into one of these pools, like, into this swampy area that you thought was standard ground, you actually feel your heavy body beginning to sink as the ground kind of gives way. It looks like it was actually just, like, a layer of topsoil above like, a deep sinkhole. And you kind of, like, flounder into it a little bit and begin to scramble. That is a failure. And Caelum, with that perception as well, you are noticing from the corners of your vision, there are a lot more things in the trees that are coming towards you all that are odd in shape and design, similar to, like, the bunny skeleton things that have, like, with their little fairy wings and their small little skeleton hands. There are more of these, like, oddity amalgams that either have too much or too little meat on their bones coming towards you. Never the correct amount. Always one or the other.
As part of this action, can I, like, swing my head so that Gwen can get on my back?
Yeah, for sure. Seeing this, seeing what has happened, Lee is going to assist Gwen in this next bit. Arjhan, it is your go.
Okay, things are bad. Things are getting very bad. I'm behind this thing.
You are, and you are watching, like, as the trees are just getting filled with things that, like, are very difficult to describe in a cohesive manner, that seem to be drawn towards the place where there was, like, a blast. You succeeded in drawing the Grim King's attention away from you, or away from it, or away from the rest of your party, and you have stealthed, and it is now currently just like it did not, like, swivel back to look at the light. It is still just, like, looking around, trying to find someone to attend its birthday party.
right now I'm trying to think of a way to get further up. The only real way is, I guess, Zephyr Strike. Yeah, that'll give me 30 feet more. So yeah. I'm going to dash ahead with Zephyr Strike, and right now all I want to do is like try and get far up. So I guess I'm going with like athletics.
Okay.
I just want to catch back up.
Yeah, either athletics or acrobatics would be fine.
13.
13. 13
I don't know if Zephyr Strike
I would say
helps with that.
Yeah, I would say that would give you advantage. You're using a spell slot for it.
So 13.
Okay. 13.
Unless Gwen's natural 1 can help with half of it advantage.
I mean, it can. It's anything.
How many times can you use Bountiful Luck?
I don't think it's a thing. You can
use Bountiful Luck as long as you have like
a
your lucky
reaction.
feat. Yeah.
Yeah, your people have blah blah blah. When an ally you see rolls a 1 for an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can use your reaction to let the ally reroll the die.
With an ally you see.
Yeah. Yeah, an ally you can see within 30 feet of you.
I'm not within 30 feet.
Then I cannot help you.
13.
Okay, so yeah, Arjhan, as you are like you're trying to get like up and over this thing.
No, I'm trying to catch up with my party.
Okay. I would say that you use Zephyr Strike, so you're just kind of like chugging along the ground as quick as you can.
So with Zephyr Strike, my speed increases by 30 feet, which would give me a speed of 75 feet.
Okay.
I'm dashing.
Gotcha. So you are able to dash forward, and you go like under the Grim King's legs forward, just like nope, like trying to go as fast as you can. And I would say that like as you are running past the Grim King, those like skull bunnies end up like dropping off of it, and some of them are on you, and they are just like biting at you as you are running by. So you are able to get near the party, but you do have like these little shitters on you.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Arjhan's. Gwen, you are up next, and Lee is assisting you.
Okie dokie. I can't. I'm not doing anything running wise, but I can. Boy, I don't have that many skills that are helpful here, but I guess I could use survival to try and maneuver us through here a little better.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to roll at advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one's a 22. The 22.
Okay. 22 is a success. So yeah, Gwen, as you are like trying to figure out how to move and how to best get out of this situation, I think that you're able to spot a path. Like you're able to like figure out like how best to move. And while that is happening, Lee is like basically like talking to giant beast Caelum, being like, you can't be struggling when you're trying to move out. Just slow movements. I know you want to move quick, but you have to like steadily push yourself up out of the scenario that you're in. Is the only way we are going to make it out. And then like that is his attempt. Next up, Cori.
Cori steps out of a tree next to Caelum, and she like puts a hand on his head, and just sort of like shouts at the entire group, and says, "All right, everyone, get your shit together. We're going to move as one." And then cast Scatter. I can teleport 5 people.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll Persuasion for this.
Yeah. to convince
Yeah.
everyone to come together?
Essentially, it's
Okay.
like a leadership role, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. I got a dirty 30.
Okay. So thankfully, scatter also helps when there are little shitbirds that are on Arjhan trying to like claw and bite out at him, because now like the thing that they were biting on is gone. And you are all able to scatter to where you end up needing to be. Dirty 30 got you you're close. You guys just need 2 more successes.
Back into a tree.
So, boom, like forward, you are no longer stuck in the ground, and like Lee, you can see like as you scatter and like port him forward, he just has this like he has never been jaunted before, but now, well, I mean, there's a first time for everything. Next up is going to be Caelum.
Could I use my stunning roar ability on the little ones as an alongside an intimidation check
Yeah, for
to
sure.
back them off of us? That's gonna be 18,
Okay, 18 is a success.
and they are all stunned.
That will be helpful. Lee is going to assist Arjhan at this point. And he's just sort of like, Arjhan, Lee gives you the look like you were the only person here that knows what like stealth is about. Can you help me out on this one?
Nope.
Fuck. And so yeah, he is going to give an assist towards you. And then next up, Arjhan.
Oh, fuck. Okay, so we have dash forward. There are still boogers coming after us.
They are all stunned now because
They're
of the
all
stunning
stunned.
roar. Yes.
Okay, Okay, so everything behind us is stunned.
That is correct.
What the fuck is in front of us? I would like to make a perception check.
Yeah. Roll for perception. You will have advantage on this.
Oh, shit. A 15.
A 15. A 15 is not enough. So,
It's all good. We're fine.
that was
Just
with
go
advantage?
forward. Yes.
okay. So, yeah, Arjhan, as you are looking forward, trying your best to like spot what's up in the trees, what's going on, and like help, and like Lee is like, can you help me out on this one? There is a moment where as your group is running forward, like one of the logs that is in front of you just kind of like lifts up, and this creature that it has like on either side of its face, it has several eyes. And when I say several, this creature has at least 4. You're not sure if there are more, if there are smaller ones, if they are just like not yet open, but it has like semi-lumpies around it. Its face kind of extends out, even though it looks mammalian. It has that kind of like side openy mouth, almost like a spider would, and it has what appears to be 6 different appendages. 2 in front, 2 in the middle, and then a set of back leggies as well, as it just like lifts itself up from underneath one of these kind of this downed rock. And you see it as it is appearing, like drenched in water, this log sort of like tumbling off of its back.
Oh, fuck.
All right, so either one more fail or one more success determines where we start off things next week. So with that in mind, hey, Gwen.
Natural 20.
Oh!
Thank God. I was like, please don't put this on me.
God,
So
that
Gwen,
is
what
such
skill
a-
are you getting your nat 20 on?
Oh, if it's gonna be a net. Wait, is it?
Performance.
Does it have to be above a 20?
Oh.
No, 20's fine.
I mean, you're getting a natural 20 on the success, which would
Oh,
normally count
right.
as 2 successes. So, like, take your pick.
Right. All right. Cool. Okay. All right.
The fucking
I can do
Rasta horns
anything.
just blared. Yeah, this is a womp 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 moment.
Yeah. Yes, Gwen is gonna use performance. No, she's gonna use intimidation.
I used intimidation last round.
Just.
I use something different.
Oh, you used something
Yeah.
different. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Gwen is going to stand up on the back of Caelum as this creature and turn to face the bounding beast bountifully coming towards us. And she's going to get up and sort of just, she does a rage yell with Grayskull coming out behind her, and I would like to flavor it as like a lot of spirits just emerging from her, and she shouts into the void with her axe aflame.
Can I possibly slightly interject?
Go ahead.
So, as you make this intimidation roar, and you raise your fiery axe above your head, you expect Grayskull to be standing behind you. All of these other spirits are emerging, but the figure that stands is a darkened spirit. Rather than this standard green glow that you are accustomed to seeing, it is almost like a blackened void of a spirit. And rather than wielding the runt axe, it looks like they have a greatsword. And this greatsword that they wield looks like a tombstone that has been elongated to a sharpened tip above, and you can feel a burning on your upper thigh from where you had received your Shadowfell tattoo not several sessions ago. And as this figure who has this long greatsword wields it, you see them raise it, and as they do, the other spirits that are there begin their haka in order to actually encourage this one. And you see them bring their blade back into a long swing, and as they do, they bring their blade forward as you cheer and raise, and you can feel the flames of your axe flicker and then come back with this strength of their slice. And in a moment, you see the head of this large creature stop and then begin to slide off of a cut. As the head falls, you look back at this spirit that stands there, and they place their greatsword blade side down into what would normally be earth, but it is actually like into like a spiritual weapon into the back of the steel predator that you are riding upon, unless no, like Cori's scatter would have like popped you on the ground. And you see that they place their blade into the ground, and as they do, you see upon this tombstone-like blade that there are what appear to be 3 different names already on there. And then one underneath begins to inscribe itself almost like an effigy. And as that last letter is carved into the tombstone blade, the spirit looks down at you, scoffs, and then you watch them disappear. And that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us for this wonderful session of Dungeon and or Dragon. I am having a blast in the Shadowfell. It's been a glorious time, but I always have a glorious time whenever these people are on the channel. Speaking of glorious people, RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, and you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. You can catch me here at Mondays as Caelum, the Shatterkai Wizard, now turned into Steel Predator. On Thursdays, where we're going to be finishing up our Urban Shadows game of Red River Legends, I play Riley Fitzgerald, who likes to talk to people and talk down an Archmage and from killing one of his party members. It's going over your time. Saturdays this week is going to be over at GGK once again, where we're doing Mistborn. I missed the last session. I don't know what's going on. We'll find out. Sunday mornings over at the Hype Goblins channel, where my character was revealed to be a doppelganger this entire time, and the actual one is inside a crypt somewhere in the basement. He's fine. Sunday nights over at LBHackEmUp's channel for the foreseeable future until something happens. I play Damien Sardonia, whose hero name is Blitz. He doesn't know how to have fun, and I don't mean that in like the metaphorical way. He literally does not know how to have fun. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches, where I'm going to be live tomorrow on my channel playing some Dead by Daylight, since I wasn't able to play for a few weeks because freaking Steam. But got it figured out. I'll be on GGK tomorrow evening doing our Burbs game. Burbs. It is a time loop game based on the Burbs, kind of. It's Cthulian Savage World game. Next, after that, I'll be on my channel on Friday doing our Friday Night Frights. I don't know what we're going to play this week. Probably something spoopy. And then Sundays, I am on GGK in the afternoon again, doing our Slaying 201 game, and then back to LBHackEmUp for Masks, where they're at a high school party where there's not underage drinking, and a bomb just went off or something. They don't know. Someone might get kidnapped. That's what they wanted. So we'll see. DanaeKeener.com.
Hoi. I'm Cyber. I stream on Cyber 1201. Oblivion. That took me by surprise. I also post campaign diaries of the Rime of the Frost Maiden, but a nicer cross. It's on youtube.com/cyber1201. They just made it to Balin Post. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm also here on Mondays, and that's it. Oh no, sorry. On Saturdays, I just started a campaign on twitch.tv/the Capricorn Cross. We just found a whole like buried city of undead, so that's fun. They seem nice. DanaeKeener.com.
Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Danae Keener on Twitter. I've got a pinned tweet there. You can see my schedule and all of the games that I'm involved in. So go check it out, DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer. We do shows like this on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's really all that we're going to have going for us until December for the most part. But come December, our Thursday slot is going to be a Lancer tabletop RPG game, which is going to be incredible. And we're also going to be switching over our Sunday game, because Rime of the Frost Maiden just ended, to The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I am very excited. I will be running that game as well. So, hey, guess what? Starting in December, 2 nights back to back, I'm in the DM seat. Good old voice in the sky. Doing my best. So, you can find the VODs of all of our games over at youtube.com/Indoor Adventures, or anywhere podcasts are made available for free. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be going into our Patreon supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, or would like to hear from all of these fine people, feel free to join us again at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, and we will do our best to respond in kind. But with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by and join us. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see you all next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!